For a country with over 1 billion people, sports are just part of our DNA. It's in our blood, and we see this incredible raw talent popping up in every single corner of India. But there's always this feeling, right, that for all our passion, we're not quite punching at our weight on the world stage. Well, today, we're going to dig into why that is and how a massive overhaul planned for 2025 aims to change everything.
And that really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? We all see those sparks of brilliance, those individual champions who somehow manage to beat the odds. But we also know there's a sleeping giant here, a systematic nationwide sporting powerhouse just waiting to be woken up. So what's standing in the way? What's the gap between our massive potential and our actual performance?
Okay, so before we can even start talking about a solution, we have to get real about the problem. And the truth is, the root of the issue lies in this incredibly complex and honestly tangled system of governance. It's a total gauntlet that our athletes and federations have to run, day in and day out. So let's take a look at who's actually running the show right now. Think of it like this. Way up top, you've got the Ministry of Sports, MYS, which sets the big picture policies. Then there's the Sports Authority of India, or SAI, which is supposed to handle the day-to-day stuff. You've also got the Indian Olympic Association, focused on the Olympics and big international games. And then you have over 50 different federations for every single sport. On paper, it seems organized.
But in reality, it's often a classic case of too many cooks in the kitchen. The huge problem here is that all these different bodies have overlapping roles and responsibilities. And what does that lead to? Well, it leads to confusion, frustrating delays, and a system where nobody seems to be truly accountable for anything.
And if that tangled mess wasn't bad enough, just follow the money. This is actually shocking. Look at this chart. In the 2022-23 budget for developing our athletes, a staggering 60%, more than half, of the funds were never even used. That's money that was meant for our athletes, for better training, for top-notch facilities, just sitting there collecting dust. And this kind of environment creates the perfect storm for another massive problem: outside interference. Too often, people with political connections but zero sports expertise end up in powerful positions in our sports federations. And remember the FIFA suspension of our football federation? That was a huge public embarrassment that basically broadcasted to the whole world just how damaging this undue influence really is. So the problems are pretty clear, right? Confusion, wasted money, and political meddling. But now let's pivot. Let's talk about the solution. Because there's a new comprehensive rulebook on the horizon, and it's called the National Sports Governance Act 2025. This could be a total game changer. For the very first time, the idea here is to create a single, uniform sports law for the entire country. The goal is to get rid of this old, messy patchwork of rules and replace it with one clear, modern framework that everyone, and I mean everyone, has to follow. Now, at the absolute heart of this new law is something called the National Sports Board, or the NSB. You can think of it as the new gatekeeper of Indian sports. And the rule is brilliantly simple. If you're a sports federation and you want government money, you have to be recognized by the NSB. No recognition, no funds. It's the key to enforcing a whole new standard. And this creates a really clear, 3-step path to accountability. So, step 1, federations have to get recognized by the new NSB. Step 2, that recognition is their ticket to government funding. But step 3, and this is the absolute kicker, that same recognition automatically puts them under the Right to Information Act. For the first time, they will be legally forced to be transparent about what they're doing and how they're spending our money.
Another huge change is the National Sports Tribunal. This is basically the new referee in town. So instead of arguments and disputes getting stuck for years in backroom committees or regular courts, this dedicated body will handle all sports-related issues. This should make things way faster and a lot more efficient for everyone involved, especially for the athletes.
And the changes don't stop there. To fight against shady internal politics, a central panel of officers will now make sure elections are run fairly. To tackle corruption, there's going to be a mandatory code of ethics for literally everyone involved. The act even plans to streamline our Olympic and Paralympic committees to make them leaner, meaner, and way more effective. But look, this isn't just about cleaning up old messes. This whole overhaul is about looking forward. It's about setting the stage for India's biggest sporting dream yet, hosting the 2036 Olympic Games. And this timeline really lays out the whole strategy. It all starts in 2025 when the act gets implemented. The hope is that by 2028, these new, transparent systems are up and running smoothly. Then, by 2032, we should really start to see the results, with these systems discovering and nurturing a whole new generation of elite talent. It's all about building an undeniable case for India to host the world in 2036.
Okay, so we've looked at the problems, we've seen the proposed solution. But what's the end game here? When you strip it all away, what is the ultimate goal of this massive new law? What does success actually look like?
It really boils down to these 4 key things. First, transparency, making sure we all know where the money is going. Second, accountability, making sure officials are answerable for their decisions. Third, and this is so important, creating an athlete-centric system where the sportsperson is always put first. And finally, getting our entire sports system in line with the best in the world, global best practices.
So there you have it. The blueprint for a new era in Indian sports is officially on the table. It promises a future that's transparent, accountable, and most importantly, focused on our athletes. But you know, a plan is only as good as its execution. So the big question we're all left with is this. A new rulebook has been written, but will it actually change the game? I guess only time will tell.